Well, it is a very, very beautiful day here in the city of Krakow, or pronounced correctly in Polish, Kraków, in southern Poland, which was once Poland's political capital until, I don't know, some like 400 odd years ago, when the capital was moved north to Warsaw, which is basically in roughly the geographic center of the country. And today I'm walking around Krakow's old town. It's hard for me to actually, I've called it Krakow my whole life, but I feel like it's more authentic to call it Kraków, but it's more personally authentic for me to say Krakow. But I do like to call things by their endonym when I can help it, and not their exonym. And I'm almost laughing. I walked out of my hotel, and it's like, it's practically, it's almost funny how beautiful the old town is. I mean, just look at these cobblestone streets. Not super great for riding my skateboard, but God, this place, it is unbelievable. Like, I'm bowled over by just how pretty it is. And I've never really known too much about Krakow. I came here about 25 years ago as a young backpacker, and I took a train through Poland. I stayed in Gdansk in the north, and then I went all the way down actually to Budapest, and I passed through here. And there are a couple of figures that populated the history of my childhood, which are notably Pope John Paul II, and who was the Bishop of Krakow, and of course, and then Lech Walesa, who was the leader of the Solidarity movement up in Gdansk, which was the shipyard movement, which helped to kind of break communism. So I'm just walking around here, and I see this random sign here. Now, Pope John Paul's real name, of course, was Karol, so that is his name in Polish. And then, of course, here is the Latin interpretation of Pope John Paul II's real name. And I remember actually the first time I came to Poland in 1999, one thing that kind of interested me as someone who grew up Catholic in the United States was that there were pictures of Pope John Paul, who was still reigning and still living at the time. He would be alive for 6 more years in his role in the papacy, but just how venerated he was here, specifically because he was an ethnic Pole. And just as a side note, I actually was just totally skimming his Wikipedia, and apparently he was also on his, I believe, maternal side, partly Lithuanian. So he was not entirely an ethnic Pole, which was not quite the story I was told as a kid. But what did we know? I mean, we didn't really understand stuff about like the Grand Duchy of Poland and Lithuania and all that kind of history. And still, as an adult in my 40s, I don't understand much of it now. But it is just, this town it's so pretty, and just the architecture is unbelievable. Things are kind of like ornate in some ways and sort of simple in another. It's like they have a great balance here. Just cruising through this little park here in the old town. And this place is just so enjoyable, especially on a summer day. The vibe is super good. Yeah, the old town isn't super skate friendly, but it's incredibly walk friendly. I'm heading now towards and I'm sure I'm pronouncing this incorrectly, but the Rynek Loni, or the main square. And it is just, and you know, one of my favorite things this actually reminds me of a little bit of Greenpoint, which is was predominantly before gentrification, Polish neighborhood in northernmost Brooklyn, abutting Queens, is the smell of a Polish bakery. Like just the aroma of that hot fresh bread crusting and like coming out of the oven, just wafting through the air in a summer breeze here. It is, wow. So this here is a tower of the old town hall here at the center of Krakow. which was, from what I just read, it was actually when Krakow was part of the Austro-Hungarian Empire at one point, and the plaque doesn't explain much. It just says that the town hall itself was destroyed by the Austrians, which could have meant Austrians, Hungarians, and people working for them. I don't know. It's a little vague, but it says that just this massive hulking brick tower was left, and it dominates the square. Just to walk around here on such a beautiful summer day it's just a sheer delight. Like, I'm giddy just exploring the town, and I don't have any agenda. I'm not here to buy anything. I don't really know where to go. A friend of mine sent me a DM on Twitter about one of his favorite cafes, so I might go check that out. But yeah, just to walk around here. And it's a little strange in that, you know, Poland is on the periphery of an all-out, well, not all-out, but maybe it's by no means total war, but the limited war in Ukraine, which doesn't really touch Poland per se, except for that one time a rocket actually landed on Polish soil some months back in eastern Poland. But like right now, I'm just gonna go check out this market hall here. The architecture here there's so many different styles. There's like, you know, Baroque to all the way to modernism. There's so many different things going on here. And I love how it's all jumbled together. Like it's not limited to one narrow architectural style. It's not just like, say, the Gothic Quarter in Barcelona or something like that. It's more varied. And you can see like this market hall it's not crazy crowded. It's not like the Grand Bazaar in Istanbul or something, but I mean, it's totally manageable. But it's definitely bustling. This is way busier than any place I saw in Berlin, where I just was till yesterday afternoon. Yeah, this place is a blast just to amble around in. And you just get a little bit lost. I don't have any, like I said, I don't have any agenda for the day, just to check out the city. I was reading this morning that part of why Krakow's layout is actually something that's pretty understandable to somebody who lives in a much more modern, like gridded city, like say New York City, is that because the city was sacked and rebuilt several times over the years, to where actually for an old city in an old part of Europe, it's laid out really well. Like this is look how perfectly like perpendicular that little side street is. And apparently Krakow was sacked by the Mongols in 1241, which the Poles refer to the Mongols, I don't know if this is colloquially, but they refer to them just as the Tatars. And I don't know if they mean the actual Tatars, as in the Tatars of Crimea in Russian-occupied Ukraine, or the Tatars of Tatarstan, or if the term Tatar, which kind of means like a steppe people from the east in a vague sense, instead of, I don't know if they mean that instead of the specific ethnic group. Not really sure, but yeah, so long before Baghdad was sacked by the Mongol Emperor Hulagu in 1258. So the Mongols were here 17 years before they were raining down their destruction upon Iraq. And but this city today, after everything it's been through, and apparently it survived obviously the Second World War quite well. So at least compared to a lot of other cities in Poland and this part of Europe in general. Boy, they certainly do love their trams here in Krakow. And I'm not mad at it. I mean, I love it, but boy, it is really chock-a-block tram. It seems to be the main mode of public transportation here, from what I can tell. Wow. Just check out this basilica. One of the weird things about being here is that you can't even attempt to pronounce a lot of the place names. I mean, if you do, it's highly likely you're going to get it totally wrong. I mean, good on you for trying, but yeah, it's just like kind of admiring from afar and not sure how to say anything. And randomly, although it says no photos, across the street from me is the American consulate in Krakow. This seems to be like a little cute little diplomatic quarter. And here, just right next door, literally, is the German consulate. Man, just look how, also just on another note, look how immaculate the streets are. There's almost no litter. I don't see much tagging. It is, man, they really, really hold this place together well. And here I've just stumbled upon another square. And wow, it's just so, like I said, it's so fun just to walk around the city. Especially, the weather's definitely helping. I imagine that in the heart of winter, this probably isn't nearly as enjoyable. But just look, I just love all these different building styles. I mean, it's one of those places that leaves you just left to cliches. Like, this entire part of Old Town looks like a postcard. Just like look at all the different colors of each of these individual facades. This walking street is amazing. It's mildly evocative of the Rådhuspladsen in Copenhagen. It's super chill. Just, yeah, what an excellent vibe. And down here at the end, there's some other, way down there, there's some other massive tower. I'm gonna go check that out. One thing they certainly seem to like here in Krakow is extolling the virtues of men of the past who've had great accomplishments. This man here, not that I understand Polish, but I'm guessing this is something about he's a professor of anatomy, and that's all I got. But there are plaques and statues and stuff all over Krakow of men from Poland's past who've had notable accomplishments. I've noticed it's definitely something that's a feature of the city. So from what I understand, this is called St. Florian's Gate. And these are the defensive walls of Old Royal Kraków. So let's just wander through here and take a look. Ooh, it opens up into a nice shady courtyard. Loving this. Again, ground here is a bit of a mixed bag for skating. And look, you get through the rough patch, boom. Just throw right back down. Weathered the storm quite a lot with all the cobblestone and brickwork here. So this, I believe, is called the Barbican. Wow, how medieval. Look, it was apparently even replete with a full-on moat. This is like something out of like Legoland. Well, this is just a bit dramatic. This commemorates the Battle of Grunwald. And I'd be lying to you if I could tell you in any kind of historical context what exactly that event was. But it was clearly something incredibly important. And look, it's even got, if you're a skater, it's got little pyramid hips on it, but unfortunately it's chained off. Wow. Wow. This is a super that gorgeous red, super smooth bike path spits me out into ultra modern Krakow. Behind me there's like this building that looks like there's an Accenture office. They have Amway. This building looks like it's not even 5 years old. So now we're here in, I guess we'll call this the new city. What an incredible transition. It's like, I love these kinds of juxtapositions. I've meandered skating and walking through Old Town with a little bit of help of leeching off Google Maps from a free university Wi-Fi that I found. And I have finally hit Wawel Castle, which I don't know how it looks. Doesn't look great in the light. I'm gonna go around it, but it looks like something out of a children's book, especially like from an American's perspective. This looks kind of like the idea of medieval Europe. One thing I'm noticing, literally right out of the gate, is that it is free to enter the castle grounds. I think you have to buy a ticket to go into any of the castle's interiors, but I'm cool with just checking out the exterior. I wasn't really, I mean, this time in Krakow is slightly spontaneous. I mean, it has a larger purpose of going further eastward, but yeah, the grounds of this place are absolutely gorgeous and kept pristine. This is, I mean, this is the absolute apex of royal Poland. And the Wawel Castle's grounds actually provide a really nice overview of Krakow. See over here, there's like a perch where you can see the Vistula River, which goes through the city. This complex is far more vast than it looks from the initial approach down below. This place is absolutely spellbinding. I'm glad I actually didn't look at anything on social media about it per se. I wanted to come here kind of knowing as little as possible, which doesn't help for my narration, but you can sort of probably detect the wonderment. I mean, it's just, it's so vast. I mean, this castle is truly a time capsule. My closing thought here of my sort of impromptu day tour of Krakow is, if you're watching this video and you're thinking about coming here, you should definitely do it. I'm like walking around this city and just smarting that I've never been here before except to the train station once decades ago. It's incredibly beautiful. I mean, just look at the architecture, the vista. Look, there's like looks like there's boat cruises happening down by the river. There's the park down below like with bike paths, and which can alternately be used as skateboard paths. This town is just gorgeous. Of course, you know, I'm clearly biased also because of the weather today, but it is just incredible. If you're thinking about coming here, if you're on the fence, just do it. I wish I was here for way more than 2 days. You could easily spend a week here. You know, in my experience, often when you find historic sites like this, they're usually smaller than pictured in real life. And Wawel Hill and Zamek Castle were completely the opposite. This place is vast. I mean, you can easily roam these grounds for an hour and not get bored and not run out of nooks and crannies to check out. Thank you guys so much for watching, and if you want to see more content like this, please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.